Today, we pay tribute to Sardar Udham Singh, the fearless revolutionary who carried the wounds of Jallianwala Bagh and turned them into a lifelong fight for justice. Driven by unbreakable resolve, he became a symbol of retribution and hope, reminding the world that India would never forget its martyrs. Join us as we recount the journey of a hero who gave everything for the dignity of his nation. You born in Sher Singh village of Sunam, Punjab, in late December 1899. Your parents, Tahal Singh and Narayan Kaur, died when you were very young. Your mother when you were about 3, your father just a few years later. As an orphan, Sher Singh and your elder brother were taken in by the Central Khalsa Orphanage in Amritsar. There, under the watchful eyes of Sikh teachers, the boys learned Punjabi, crafts, and the Sikh faith.
I remember the orphanage like another home. My brother was my anchor. We prayed together at dawn, learned carpentry in the workshop, and helped each other through tough days. It was here I was given the name Udham Singh. Udham means eternal, and it felt like a name for a purpose. In 1917, my brother fell ill and passed away. With him gone, I had to find my own way.
At the orphanage, you, still called Ud by friends, received a basic education and took up carpentry and other crafts. But the world beyond the orphanage walls was changing fast.
When World War I broke out, I realized a steady job could help the destitute. I enlisted in the British Indian Army as a laborer. I was sent to Basra, now in Iraq, to build and supply the army. But even there, I saw the cruelty of war. Twice I was sent back home for clashes with officers. I returned each time to Basra, hoping for the promised pay, but never got it. I fought not for the empire, but for survival. When the war ended and I returned to India, I was disillusioned, denied the pay I was promised, and burdened by the horrors I had seen.
Back in Punjab, your life changed forever on April 13, 1919. That day, the peaceful protest at Jallianwala Bagh was savaged. You were yourself serving water to the crowd when British troops opened fire on the unarmed gathering.
I was there, holding a bucket of water for thirsty Sikhs. Then suddenly, the ground shook with gunfire. We had no warning. Bang! After bang, bang, the Gurkha rifles barked. Innocent men, women, children, hit by bullets falling like rain. I saw bodies slump, blood on the holy ground.
You have watched as Reginald Dyer's orders turned Baisakhi from jubilation to terror. Over 1,000 Punjabis were killed or wounded, many crushed as soldiers sealed the exits and fired until the ammunition ran out.
I saw it all. Mothers clutching their dead, fathers wailing. In those moments, something inside me changed. I vowed quietly, on that ruined earth, they will pay for this. My life's purpose was born in blood that day. The Lieutenant Governor MichaelODwyer, who had blessed Dyer's massacre, became the face of my vengeance.
The Jallianwala Bagh massacre set you on a new course. You began seeking out revolutionaries and ideas for freedom. In this period, you came into contact with Lala Lajpat Rai, Kishan Singh, and most importantly, Bhagat Singh. According to records, you considered Bhagat Singh as your guru and even called him as your best friend.
Bhagat Singh was a lion. His courage in the Yervada jail, his voice in Shahidi, martyrdom, inspired me. I carried his portrait everywhere, drawing strength from it. He gave me purpose beyond personal revenge, to fight for the freedom of all India. When he was hanged in 1931, I carried his ashes in my heart.
In the early 1920s, your path took you far from Punjab. You worked in East Africa on colonial railways and farms, then crossed to North America. By 1924 in the United States, where you joined the Ghadar Party, a secret organization of expatriate Indians dedicated to India's independence.
The Ghadar Party was like a revolution itself. We read fiery newspapers smuggled to India. We networked with freedom fighters worldwide. I took different names, Ud Singh, Frank Brazil, even Singh Azad, to evade British spies.
During those years, you traveled relentlessly, from East Africa to Mexico and Europe. Your work took you to Africa, Britain, Germany, the US, and Mexico. You supported yourself with honest labor, on railways, farms, in factories.
In California, I even found love. I met a Mexican teacher named Lupe Hernandez. We married in 1924 and had 2 sons. I had a home and a job, but the fire in me did not dim. Every letter I read, every word of MichaelODwyer's book India as I Knew It, in which he bragged about Jallianwala, only strengthened my resolve.
Even as you built a life in abroad, you never forgot your vow. In 1927, at Bhagat Singh's request, you slipped back into India to smuggle arms and ammunition for the revolution. But in August of that year, you got arrested by the British in Amritsar for possessing banned weapons and seditious literature.
I never hid from my cause. In court, I admitted everything: arms, books, my identity. I was sentenced to 5 years hard labor, but I was proud. Prison only forged me stronger. I spent my time reading revolutionaries, planning the day I could strike back.
You served about 4 years of that sentence. You got released early in 1931 for good behavior. By then, both Dyer and Sir MichaelODwyer were gone. Dyer had died in 1927, and O'Dwyer had resigned. But you have lost something else too. Your hero Bhagat Singh had been hanged.
When Bhagat was martyred, it felt like the end of the world. I kept his photograph close. But Bhagat's sacrifice lit a fire in me. I swore, if I can die like him, I will. I would carry on for all who fought before me.
Upon release, you quietly returned to your mission. In 1933, you obtained a passport in Lahore under your real name and made your way to London. There, you have joined the Indian Workers' Association, blending into the expatriate community, but you never stopped planning.
In London, I kept a low profile. I walked the streets at dusk searching for O'Dwyer or Dyer. At meetings, I met other revolutionaries. We whispered in bunkers, printed pamphlets. Under the alias Singh Azad, I even traveled further, to Germany, to the Soviet Union, always plotting.
For years, you evaded the police. British agents knew a Ram Mohammed Singh Azad was active, but you vanished into the crowd. You worked odd jobs, learned languages, made friends, all while nursing his old vow. On March 13, 1940, your long quest reached its climax. At London's Caxton Hall, the East India Association, a pro-India forum, was hosting Sir MichaelODwyer, the former Lieutenant Governor of Punjab.
That day, I wore a simple suit and tied a neat mustache. In my satchel was a small revolver wrapped in a handkerchief. I had followed O'Dwyer's itinerary for weeks. When I learned he'd speak in Westminster, I knew this was my chance.
As O'Dwyer finished his speech, you rose from the crowd. In one swift move, you drew your hidden pistol and fired 5 shots at O'Dwyer, hitting him fatally. 2 others in the hall were wounded. O'Dwyer collapsed to the floor.
I don't regret a thing. With that shot, 21 years of pain and anger found an end. I had waited decades for this moment.
The room erupted, but you did not flee. You stood on ground as police swarmed. You calmly gave his name as Ram Mohammed Singh Azad, explaining the name. Ram for Hindus, Mohammed for Muslims, Singh for Sikhs, Azad, meaning free, for all Indians. In your coat pocket, you even carried a leaflet. Get revenge for the people massacred in India. In June 1940, you were tried at the Old Bailey, Central Criminal Court, in London. Britain's government tried to minimize publicity, but the courtroom was packed. Justice Atkinson presided.
In court I have said, Your Honor, let me say first, I have not come here to plead or to ask for mercy. I came to speak for India, for the victims of Jallianwala.
The judge first asked if the defendant had anything to say before sentencing. You began to speak, but the judge interrupted.
Judge, Justice Atkinson, said, I am not going to listen to a political speech. If you have anything relevant to say about this case, say it. I said, I have to say this. I wanted to protest. This was a protest by a humble Indian against the crimes of the empire. India has known nothing but slavery for generations under you. You call yourselves civilized, but your history is written in blood and oppression. If any British here have any human decency, you should die with shame. I am not afraid to die. I do not care about the sentence. I am proud to die, to have freed my motherland by this act. When I leave this place, I will go to the next world a happy man. We in India are suffering under the British Empire, but even if you hang me, know this: you cannot break our spirit.
The judge passed a brief death sentence. When asked if you had any final words, you addressed the courtroom in a calm, confident voice.
Yes, I said I am not afraid to die. I am proud to die. I have great sympathy with the workers of England, but I am against the dirty British government.
At your execution on July 31st, 1940, witnesses reported you walking to the gallows with a soft smile, reciting a hymn. You were hanged at Pentonville Prison in London that morning, becoming the first Indian executed there. Your body was interred in the prison yard. Your act sent shockwaves through India. To many young nationalists, you became a heroic martyr. Shaheed-e-Azam, they called you. Subhas Chandra Bose praised his courage. But leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru, engaged in delicate negotiations with the British, publicly condemned the assassination. Gandhi wrote, "I regard this act as one of insanity." Nehru, too, worried it could hurt India's cause. The country was split.
I understood their sorrow, but I also understood the sorrow of Amritsar. I took revenge for people who had no voice. If the world remembers me at all, I want it to remember why.
After India's independence, you were finally honored. In 1974, the Punjab government brought his remains back home. Your ashes were scattered, one urn at Jallianwala Bagh itself, another at the Ganges, and others at various memorials, a gesture of national reverence. Statues have been erected in your name, and filmmakers have tried to capture your story. Nearly a century after the firing squad, your memory lives on.
My martyrdom was not for me, but for every young Indian who believes in justice. To the youth of India today, I say, remember Jallianwala Bagh, remember the mothers who cried for their children. Never let the flame of freedom die out in your hearts. Education, unity, courage, cultivate these.
What message would you like to give to today's young Indians?
The empire is gone, but its injustices taught us strength. In your hands lies the future of Mother India. Carry forward the promise we fought for, with love, with truth, and with the unshakable will to see liberty bloom.
Sardar Udham Singh's sacrifice is a reminder that justice is born from courage and love for the motherland. If his powerful story moved you, share this episode with friends and family. Let's honor his memory by keeping the flame of justice and freedom alive in every heart. Jai Hind. Bharat Mata Ki Jai.